thick jungles of Vietnam as the sounds of distant gunfire ring out and a stray bullet whistles by, you see a Marine standing next to you, ready to kick in the door on the thatch hut in front of you both. You hear the traditional song being sung in the distance, as this man beside you unleashes his assault rifle into the setting around you. Fast forward. It's April 8th, 1976. A baby takes its first breath, and his parents decide to name him.
We can dance if we want to, we can leave your friends behind. Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well they're no friends of mine. See, we can go where we want to, places they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind.
What is genius? The adjective use of genius is used to describe someone being very clever or ingenious, but the history of the word goes back to describe the innate qualities of a person, the inherent characteristics of a person. In 2013, I watched a video from a show called Respawn Inbox. It was from a network on YouTube called Machinima. Of course, I knew Machinima, as did everybody remotely familiar with any creator on the platform at the time. The titan of the space dominated everything remotely associated with gaming content and beyond. But when I clicked on this video, it was and still is the hardest laugh I have ever had watching a YouTube video. Mr. Sark is a genius. Scott Robeson grew up in a Mormon household, but experienced the typical life otherwise. Though he had subtle doubts about his faith growing up, Scott kept his doubts to himself and pursued his nerdy interests through to the end of high school, even reading J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit 12 times in 1 year and wetting his bed well into his late teens. Around his college age, Scott embarked on his quest of faith as prescribed by the Mormon Church, his mission. It is traditional for many practicing Mormons to undertake a mission to spread the gospel around the time of their entering adulthood. Scott undertook his mission right after high school and was sent to San Diego, California. During his mission, after numerous notable events like breaking both of his arms on a BMX bike while trying to jump over a basketball hoop, Scott had an atheistic epiphany, realizing that everything his Mormon mission and therefore his faith entailed was false. He decided to finish his mission despite his lack of belief to prioritize his family relationships, as the mission is as much an aspect of community as it is one of faith. He left the church shortly after returning home from his mission, focusing on charity and philanthropy instead. Up until at least 2000, Scott lived in Carlsbad, California as a waiter, and after watching the 1999 film Fight Club, started a makeshift fight club in his apartment with his then roommate.
Weekly, and we just had whoever wanted to come over. We threw each other through the drywall. I got kicked so hard in the face by a Muay Thai, like a professional kickboxer, that my face swelled up, and if I laughed too hard, bubbles blew out my tear ducts. Like I could blow bubbles out of my eye. I got kicked in the, yeah.
Not only that, but this event happened in front of his then girlfriend and future wife, who he would later propose to on the top level of a parking structure at the ArcLight Theater in Hollywood.
And I told her, like, so shitty. I took it to the ArcLight parking lot. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I took it to the top of the parking lot at the ArcLight Theater. There's a reason why I did this. Okay. A, she wouldn't know that it was coming because it was so shitty. There's no way.
Anyway, the Fight Club eventually moved out of his apartment and into the parking area of a gas station his roommate worked a graveyard shift at, where it was eventually shut down after being discovered by the manager of said gas station. Around 2007 to 2008, Scott worked at the entertainment network G4. G4 was a TV network that focused exclusively on gaming-focused content, with notable shows like X-Play and Attack of the Show. Around this time, Scott began to use a familiar moniker, and his eventual gamertag and personality name, Mr. Sark. Mr. Sark contributed to G4 in different ways, primarily on X-Play, where he had an especially notable bit where he created his own challenges in Halo 3. He called these challenges the Sarkathlon. It eventually caught the attention of Bungie, the developers of the Halo series, and Bungie participated in the Sarkathlon by awarding the coveted Flaming Helmet to the winner of the 4th installment of the Sarkathlon. Later, Bungie would just give away this helmet, so I don't fucking know what the big, they kind of soiled it, honestly. In 2009, however, there was a growing network of YouTube channels called Machinima. Machinima was raking in views on YouTube, especially in its commentary-focused channels, with notable personalities like CNanners and Hutch. Machinima created Machinima Respawn, also called Respawn for short, and hired Mr. Sark as a sole host on the channel, though he was later joined by co-hosts in the aforementioned CNanners and Hutch. During his time at Respawn and Machinima, Mr. Sark, as a managing producer, would create many shows and projects, with notable features like covering Comic-Con, Gamescom, E3, as well as shows like Radio Respawn and Lunch in Progress. However, the most notable show was just on the horizon. It is unknown exactly when the first Respawn Inbox episode was aired, but early episodes can be traced back to sometime in 2011. The format of the show was very bare bones in the beginning, with Mr. Sark, CNanners, and Hutch standing around answering questions from pieces of paper. It is clear that the production of the show was very much a do it when we can type of show in the beginning. However, as production quality improved, so did the format. The questions selected became more ridiculous, and therefore the hosts also had to become more ridiculous. The show evolved into an Ouroboros of ridiculosity, feeding on its own humor and craziness. The best part about this, however, is it would not easily die out where other shows failed in a similar scenario. This is due to one major variable: the fans. The fans of Respawn and Inbox were providing the material to the hosts, and with a large amount of fans, the fuel was near limitless. Eventually, Respawn Inbox became successful enough to get its own set. Mr. Sark created the iconic costume of the bow tie, white shirt, and apron, which he said was inspired by the 1994 film The Hudsucker Proxy, in which a character named Norville Barnes wears a similar outfit. The character Norville Barnes works in the mailroom in the movie. The set would be framed on the right by a pneumatic tube in which a canister with the mail inside would fall to the desk, where it would be retrieved by Mr. Sark, opened and read, beginning the show. The first episode on this new set, released on March 12, 2012, features Mr. Sark and Hutch, and it quickly gets to a high note and a great moment of the series, where a question posed to Mr. Sark asks him what his favorite scene in the movie Predator is.
Are you supposed to chew it all at once there? Or are you
I
supposed
don't know. My favorite scene in Predator, Ryan, is the 5-minute jungle shootout, led by Mac. So, spicy. Sergeant!
Yeah, we got it.
I see you. Gonna have me some fun. Gonna have me some fun.
This is what happens, Ryan, when you get him going on Predator. He just keeps...
Long tall Sally.
The show quickly evolved into what many, myself included, knew and loved. It was this era of Respawn Inbox that defined it in its style and comedic impact. Eventually, as CNanners and Hutch left Machinima, Mr. Sark brought on APL Fisher as his new co-host. The first clip I remember laughing to was when Sark talked about his aversion to canned peas.
Jennifer, I don't like... Is it canned? Canned. Yeah. I don't like canned peas. Huh. Frozen peas, those are fine. Cook those up, they're sprightly and bright green. Canned peas? Canned peas looks like someone opened up a can of split pea soup, chugged it, and then 8 hours later they collected it in a weird sort of like Survivor Man dew collector, but they just bent over it and shat in it, filtered it into a can, and then you're left with this fucking sludge that every now and then you see a pea float up to the top, like it's risen up from the fucking bottom of the And my mom used to be like, peas tonight for health. Ugh. Thanks, Mom. Thanks. I love eating what looks like a sailor's shit.
And there's way, way more where that came from.
This is the first spotted dick I've ever had.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna find your mom and I'm gonna make her jealous with the shit I do to your dad. That's how awful it's gonna get. I'm gonna bend your dad over, I'm gonna treat his asshole like a vagina. Spread that shit open, butter it up with some canola oil, one of the ingredients of spotted dick. And then I'm gonna throw my non-spotted dick right into his brown fucking starfish. Nick Don wants to know New Zealanders are Australian. Why don't you suck a dick with your butthole, Jim? Maybe try that. Maybe try that. Here's how you do that, in case you're wondering. You get a Frosty from Wendy's, and you have somebody put their dick in your butthole, and then you take a big, hard suck on the Frosty, and it creates suction out of your butt. All right? And then you can milk that dick with your anus. Next question. Li Kuang Tran Viet, which, I mean, I hear the sound of distant Hueys as soon as I read that. Distant Huey.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah. Do you hear the gunfire? Do you hear them?
Way back in the jungle. Can't even see it. Every now and then you go, this is like a stray round whistles
tracers.
by your ear. Li Kuang Tran Viet.
Screaming and burning babies.
I probably killed your entire previous generation, except for whoever survived to squeeze you out of their vagina. I probably killed the entire one, kicked the door in on that thatch hut. Hearing that the traditional song being sung in the distance. What's up? What's up, Machinima? Ever since I saw your live streams, I was dedicated to play more Call of Duty. I wanted to ask you if you could level up my PS3 account. If you could level up my PS3 account for Modern Warfare 3. But if you can't, it's fine. It would be awesome if you could get all the signatures of the Machinima team on one paper, or do separate signatures for each paper. I really want Stark and Cedars. How you doing back there, Mondo? We just had too many cards. Hollywood, here's how it would probably work, is Hollywood would just be walking around with them hanging off of him.
What Sark does really well is a sort of conversational humor that is just so underrated. It's like that friend you have who just makes everyone laugh when you're all hanging out. The inbox format lent itself perfectly to this style of humor. It never got bland, old, or boring. Continuous additions to the show, like adding a P.O. box or having guests on the show, kept things fresh, while providing more ways for Sark to shine and flex his comedic muscles, although his real muscles could barely curl an Xbox controller. Although the Q&A format is basically dead on YouTube these days, it was a very popular format at the time on the platform. All kinds of YouTubers were making Q&A style videos or found some kind of way to answer comments from fans or questions and make videos out of it. This kind of interaction is almost alien in the current age of YouTube, and it's kind of a nostalgia trip to revisit this show. Aside from paid live chat donations like Super Chats or Twitch subs or things like that, this show really stands out. It especially stands out with Real Mail, where viewers sent in real letters to Sark and APL, also referred to many times as Stark and Apples. The show even got some major interaction with celebrities like Michael Bay sending in multiple real mail packages, one including printed pictures of himself that he signed and noted.
Just pictures of Michael Bay. Michael sent us some pictures of himself. Thank you. Thank you. That was a good one. Yep, there it is. The shirt and button look.
Oh my
Yep.
God, Michael.
There we go. I guess it really is him.
And they all have comments on them. I look like a war hero or something, LMAO. Pretending I'm on a plane, Rafflecopter.
Eventually, Inbox became embedded enough in the Respawn brand that Sark and APL took the show on the road, and in certain instances filmed episodes at events like E3, or Gamescom, or PAX Prime. In April of 2013, Sark left Machinima to take his career entirely solo. It was clearly time for him to move on, as a lot of creators began to leave Machinima to try their luck solo as the years progressed. Sark still appeared on episodes of Respawn Inbox as a freelance host until June of 2013, when the show was eventually canceled. In 2014, I discovered the show in my high school's library. The show was quickly building a cult following, mainly with fans of the show who were sad that it had ended. The cult following would continue to re-upload videos and compilations of the show, as well as other Machinima Respawn content like Radio Respawn or Legend Progress, all prominently featuring Mr. Sark. In 2016, Machinima was acquired by Warner Media. Machinima was already a failing company at this point, and it would officially cease operations in February of 2019. Mr. Sark now streams on Twitch as well as uploads gaming videos to YouTube, though it has been some time since his last upload. This has been Sark's course of career ever since leaving Machinima, having moved away from Los Angeles to Austin, Texas as well. He now lives there with his wife and 2 children. Sark has also collaborated with many other YouTube gamers like Vanoss and his crew, Tabes, as well as Hutch and CNanners. In 2016, Sark voiced a character named Eddie in a YouTube premium series called Paranormal Action Squad. The show was about a pair of paranormal monster hunters and ran for 8 episodes until late 2016. More than 10 years after Respawn Inbox's end, Sark's humor has still influenced the humor of the internet. One joke in particular has made its way into certain circles, and, like a parasite, dug its tendrils into popular content.
Manny Walmart to know if we want unlimited bacon and no video games, or unlimited video games and no video games. I don't understand this question at all.
If it's no bacon, there's bacon.
It's games and no games.
Yeah.
Did you mean games and no bacon? Are we willing to sack bacon for our video games? Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
what was this guy's name?
Right. Who is that?
Matt. Come on, Matt.
Proofread this shit.
So I'm gonna go with bacon and no video games, because at least at the end of that scenario, I've got fucking bacon. I've got something. If I go with video games and no video games, then I just gave up everything I earned by answering your weird, what kind of retarded genie would have come out of this lamp?
Yeah, it's an amorphous
You
blob.
have wakened me from an endless slumber. I grant you one wish. Would you like endless bacon, but no more games? Or would you like games, unlimited games, and no games? Which would you want? You fucking idiot, take the bacon. At least just take the bacon. I failed genie school. All right, hold on. So maybe he means...
The joke is now popular on a podcast by a certain YouTube creator who may have repurposed it a few times.
You're a Skyrim guy.
Yeah.
You like games.
I like games.
Would you rather have unlimited bacon, but no more video games? Or would you rather have games, unlimited games, and no games?
Completely incomprehensible. That was so nothing.
What?
That was
does it mean?
absolutely
Would you rather have unlimited bacon?
Schlatt made an offer to Sark on a recent podcast appearance in which he said that he would love to bring back Respawn Inbox, even offering to fund the whole thing himself, as long as Sark would appear on the show. Sark was somewhat apprehensive to the idea, and I must say I am as well. As much as I would like the show to be continued, there is some kind of value in watching what exists. It's like a perfect series that ended when it should have. If they bring it back, it might be like The Hobbit to the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. On the other hand, I think Mr. Sark is a genius, so I'd still be happy to watch it. I think if you watch some Respawn Inbox archive videos or compilations, you'd also laugh quite a lot and enjoy yourself. Thanks for watching.
As soon as I heard about the first bath salt incident, I ate my neighbor. And she was disgusting, too. Did not take care of her body. It was mostly folded, spotted skin. But that's how you survive. Pro tip.
We can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. See.